Okay, we're starting with the nation. APC chair pressure mounts on Buhari to drop Adamu. IMF to help Nigeria, others on debt and tax. Man laments 720 naira to the litre diesel price as aviation fuel also hits 600 naira to the litre. General Overseer arrested with drugs at Lagos airport. PDP does not belong to Wiki, says Obaseki. Russia-Ukraine war a threat to Nigeria's food security. INEC should not meddle in party affairs, says Olawepo Hashim. And 2023, PDP opens defection talks with ex-governors, senators, and reps. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let us start with this Kenya-bound pastor. His name is Ekwem, Reverend Ugochukwu Emmanuel Ekwem. He is the General Overseer of Christ Living Hope Church. He was arrested by NDLEA when he was found with 54 sticks of cannabis wrapped around his body. He said he was going on a crusade and he had planned to use the cannabis when he gets there. Shocking. I mean, what would the church members say? To see their whole general overseer. His picture is there, general overseer with arrested by NDLEA. Now it's not bad guys do it. Everybody is doing it until your court. NDLEA also gave a breakdown of some of the arrests that they made. They said March 7th, they arrested another person who had arrived with cocaine, 40 parcels of cocaine concealed inside bottles of body cream. And there was another 3 days later, Mr. Edo Blessing, who had brought in over 2,000 tablets of tramadol. I mean, with all this arrest, you would think some people would just stop this line of business or whatever it is, but they are quite bold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so the President Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Michael Olawale Cole, has said that the festering war between Russia and Ukraine will likely affect our food supply. They said in 2021, we had been getting wheat from Russia. I think 27% of wheat from Russia in 2021, about 4% of wheat from Ukraine in 2021, and they are like the largest supplier of wheat around the world. And now that this, war is lingering, we may not be able to get wheat. So the advice now is that if there's any way that the federal government will open up the reserves, peradventure we have any form of reserves where we have kept wheat, it's time to open it up so that we can have access to wheat, and also ensure that we encourage local manufacturers at least to be able to serve our local needs in the time being for wheat. I would advise if we can do without the wheat, mostly eat
commercial
it.
level.
Yeah.
I thought
it's not enough.
We don't have it. Yeah, we have wheat, but we don't have
consumption.
enough for local consumption.
Okay, so I'm going to take the major headlines. So, unfortunately, our president who went to the UK to rest, they're not allowing him to rest because various factions are coming to see him. So his friends from the CPC, they call themselves the Inner Caucus Strategists. And leaders of the CPC have gone to go and appeal to him to allow Buni to come back, at least to chair the party until their convention is coming up. While another caucus, which is led by Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State, is trying to insist on against having Buni. Remember, there's a faction against Al-Makura, who is the ex-National State governor, for being the chair of the convention for the party actually. So there's a lot of back and forth, negotiating, lobbying. We don't know yet, but it's looking like Buni might take leadership come Wednesday, since it seems like there's no clear-cut direction from the president. But they're saying that they shall allow the convention to make it sacrosanct on March 26th, which is the date that we set for the convention, to see who will become the chairman. But at this point, Nigerians are just tired of this back and forth.
So there's a lot of political tension, and we all know it's built up towards 2023, because the story I was taking about, it's about PDP and the crisis between Governor of Rivers State in Wike and Governor of Edo State replying to Governor of Rivers State, that the back and forth between the governor and the speech the Governor of Rivers State Wike made concerning the Deputy Governor of Edo State is very wrong, and that even though they defected, they haven't been integrated properly into PDP. And the Governor of Edo State was saying he knows that the Governor of Rivers State, Wike, is trying to contest for presidency, but that he shouldn't use, whatever he wants to do shouldn't affect other party structures. Same thing within PDP, I mean APC as well, where an aspirant is saying INEC should not. It's just all politics. And I feel that our strength of our politics must start from inside the parties. So we must strengthen the internal party democracy so that we have viable candidates to now vote into different offices, because these two parties need to get it right.
They need talking about parties, I mean, let me just move on. The Punch. Buni may head APC convention uncertainty surrounds zoning. General Overseer heading for Kenya crusade arrested with cannabis. Talked about that earlier. Bakers threatened shutdown as diesel price others soar. I fled Arabic school for fear of cane, says Obasanjo. Amotekun arrest Lagos-based businessman, 7 others for robbery and rape. Government attack, abduct, Punch reporters, steal phones and empty accounts. Talks with Labour on fuel subsidy removal ongoing, says federal government. Gencos disagree with TCN over outages, blame weak transmission. And NDLA traces 4.2 billion naira to Abba Kyari, co-accused accounts. Okay, which stories are we taking?
On a lighter note, so the former president Olusegun Obasanjo on Sunday, while he was at Abeokuta during the inauguration and turbaning of Sheikh Salis Adenaka, explained that it was out of fear of Koboko made him abandon Arabic school. But nevertheless, so he still knows all the songs that they are singing there. And he was advising that every religious person must believe and strive for Al-Jannah. That's the paradise. That if you Al-Jannah, if you believe in it, that means you will take your religious practices seriously. And he went ahead and said some other things. All
right. So I was going to take fuel subsidy. Right. So the NNPC is saying that, listen, they have to have a conversation with Labour, because the truth is that this the World Bank projection that they will be spending about 4 trillion naira on petrol subsidy in 2022. This is this year. All marketers also stated that that might actually rise to 6 trillion naira in 2022 because of the increase in crude over the world. And what that just simply means is that we're going to be paying much more subsidy. So as great as it is that we're supposed to be happy that the cost is going higher to bring in more money, but guess what? You're paying more money to these guys. So the point is that NNPC that it's an explosive conversation, but they have to continue to engage, and they will continue to engage at Labour on this matter, because
I'm sort of supporting Labour. Have you seen what's happening with diesel?
Isn't the
Labour how? Because it's Labour that is Nigerians that caused the increase.
No, but as diesel price has gone up, if we leave petrol to free market, we'll be buying petrol for like 1,000 naira on the streets of Lagos very soon.
No, but it fluctuates.
So they should continue to pay subsidy, what you're saying?
We know the reason
why Nigerians like to have this two-side market.
We need to pick a side.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We've always said it. We one side, like, what is expensive. And that side, like,
the market forces will determine
long-term solution will take it out. Honestly, I agree.
Yeah, not just the subsidy.
They're going to be paying over 400 naira per litre as subsidy.
Wow.
Yes, according to the statistics.
Anyway,
and we may borrow
really
more.
Bad.
It's horrible.
We may borrow more.
Why don't you just do things without petrol? Maybe I'll start walking to your house or walking to your office. I'll just stop using a car.
We don't sleep with a generator.
Thank God there's virtual meetings now. I don't have to come to your office.
Yes.
Another issue that we cannot easily resolve and seem to be affecting many lives is ASUU. And currently the ASUU, and they're supposed to have a negotiation. There's a committee that has been set up to renegotiate the implementation of the 2009 agreement. And now the Ministry of Education is saying that we cannot have a gunpoint negotiation. If ASUU is on strike, and that is the basis of the negotiation, then it's not going to be a favorable. It won't be an easy negotiation to carry out. That they would like the ASUU people and the ASUU to call off the strike while negotiation is going on. That if I were ASUU, I would call off strike, and that's what we're telling ASUU to do, pending the agreement. That's because we would not want to be forced into making an agreement we cannot sustain. Because if there's a strike, we'll be rushing to make the strike go off, and we might end up doing just promising something that we cannot do. So let's call off the strike and agree properly.
And that's very important. Who has the bakers?
Yeah, I have the bakers, but I think it's just another addition to your story, and this is from the Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria, and they're thinking of shutting down operations because of the price of diesel. they acknowledge that the wheat coming in is a problem, but they say it's not really that much of a problem in relation to the price of diesel. That is just, I mean, you know, we're just talking about it's just crazy, and that the cost of operations has gone, you know, through the roof because of the price of diesel. And if nothing is done soon enough, they may just have to close shop.
Wow. You know, we've been living in a fool's paradise. The truth is that a lot of things that we have... Anyway, let's go on a break. It's not our decision today. Because sometimes the reality... Just imagine everything shuts down. Like everything. Companies will shut down. Not just bakers. Everybody will shut down. All the other...
And they will not rearrange.
Will not rearrange. Because the truth is that we can't afford this luxury. We're faking it. Yeah. This is a luxury life that we're living. We can't afford it. This hair that we're buying, we can't really afford it. Yes. Our economy can't handle it. That's the truth. I agree with you. We'll be right back. Fake life.
Fake.
Very fake. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Daily Sun. Bad fuel. Buhari approves sanctions against corporates. Kanu will be freed April 8th, says IPOB. New twist in APC over convention. Religious differences have not affected my work and relationship with Buhari, says Oshimbajo. MAN seeks, that's MAM, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, seeks federal government intervention as diesel hits 720 naira to the litre. 2023, Guba Abia North prepares to desert APC over zoning. And Enugu 2023, Ekwere Mado Nwodo disagree over zoning. Okay.
Indigenous people of Biafra,
yes,
are saying that they expect nothing but freedom for their leader, Kanu, on or before April 8th, when his case will come up in court. According to their spokesperson, Ima Powerful, he said that the federal government has no tangible reason not to let Kanu go, despite charges before him, despite the fact that they had amended the charges before him to a 15-count charge, and he's advising the judge to be fair enough and save her name from ridicule, because according to the charges, the position on the 15-count amended charges said they were empty and have no iota of substance whatever. That the federal government committed a crime by, lifting him up from where he was and bringing him into the country, that's a violation of his human rights. And so they need to look into that. So they expect nothing but acquittal on or before April 8th.
Yes, so... Yes, a delegation from Senegal came to visit the office of the Vice President. The person of Grand Khalifa of Tijaniya Islamic Movement worldwide, Sheikh Muhammadu Nias. The Vice President during the visit said that it is important that religion is used in Africa in a way to foster peace and prosperity for his people. He gave an example. He says, look at the president, he's a devout Muslim, and he is a pastor, and both of them have worked together for about 7 years, without any issues. And he says that many nations have used religion to prosper their people, to guide them, and that we tend to not see the impact spiritually and physically of religion on our world, that religion benefits the world. Many nations have used religion to prosper their people, to do well for their country. And so Africa should look at religion that way, allow for people to have the different religions that they want to, but also make sure that we do in such a way that it fosters peace and unity and prosperity.
And tolerance also. All right, so I was going to take the major headlines. So our president is still on the issue of the fuel scarcity and the bad fuel that was imported, the adulterated fuel that was imported into the nation. The president has approved proper sanctions for those who were responsible. So he signed off on this before he left, and there was a meeting recently that was being held where they were talking about how to stop and ensure that this never happens again. So I'm happy that the people that they found the culprit, they didn't mention the names in this article, but I think many of us already have an idea who some of these companies are, and they're saying that they have signed up on the sanction of those responsible, so it doesn't happen again.
So let me take a story about an interview with the Chief of Defense Staff, explaining why Nigeria won't hire mercenaries, because people have had the opinion that if we hire foreign mercenaries to help fight the war within the country, not the war, the crisis with terrorism within the country, we might be able to put an end to the internal crisis happening, especially within the Northeast. And the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, has said that the reason they won't do this is because the primary duty of the military is to protect the sovereignty of the country, and they would not relegate that to another foreign mercenary group to do it. There's been a lot of improvement in the fighting of terrorism. It was an interview session, but one of the things I picked out was that the core of what the military is meant to do, they are doing it. They are fighting Boko Haram and ISWAP. They are changing strategy as needed to be done. And over time, bringing in foreign mercenaries will mean that we are losing hold of our country as a unit. So that would not happen. Nobody should expect that at any point in time would they bring in any foreign mercenary to come and fight on Nigerian soil. The Nigerian military will collaborate with global foreign companies to support in technical and intelligence, but not to bring them as human beings on ground to fight. I think I support that.
Okay, so moving on quickly now to Vanguard. 1 trillion naira inflow set to escalate excess cash in banks. Mele Kyari should be appreciated, says Tanko Yakasai. Energy crisis, Gencos blame 1.64 trillion naira debt for low power supply. Power chased me, I didn't chase it, says OBJ. 2023, Oshimbajo's running, but still consulting, says source. UTAS, ASUU flays FG's claim of failing integrity tests. I didn't exonerate Abba Kyari, I only asked for further investigation, says Malami. Scarcity, why we give priority to foreign airlines, says aviation fuel marketers. Manufacturers send SOS to FG as diesel price hits 730 naira. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is speaking again.
He took a lot of stories today.
Yes. And he said,
did you guys see the video of him playing football, running to the football field?
85.
He's strong. And strong.
Yes, so he spoke in Abeokuta during a symposium organized by Kegates Club. He's their grand patron, and they organized that activity in celebration of his 85th birthday. And he was saying that he was reluctant to be in political power. The power kept pursuing him and pursuing him and pursuing him, and he didn't want to be a part of it. Why are you people laughing? And he said that this happened in 1976 when they wanted him to take over as the military head. And he rejected it. This was said, first of all, by Farumbi, a former Nigerian ambassador to the Philippines, who said he was very much involved at the time, and he knows the truth that Obasanjo did not want power at the time. And also in 1999, they needed somebody who would take over and ensure that the military doesn't come back. And he was the only person who fits into that category. They begged him and begged him and begged him. And he said, yes, so that he's actually saying the truth, that they begged him. He kept running and running, and power was chasing him, and he was running and running because he was taught in his military training that you don't mix military and politics. So he was upholding it. But finally, power now caught him.
Let go of the military. All right, let me take Malami, the AGF story. He was saying, now, going back to the issue of sensationalizing, where papers kind of twist stories to make it gain traction or get traction. Now, he was saying, the news that were making around saying that there was no evidence against Abba Kyari. He said that's not what he said. What he was saying that it was a case of work in progress in which the office of the Attorney General were requesting for more investigation towards these probe that was being done, saying that there wasn't enough information and investigation that was done. According to him, the office stance is that no conclusion has been reached on the direction of absence of evidence relating to the first report. So he has nothing to do with the fact that he doesn't say there's no evidence. He's just saying that right now, investigation is not concluded, it's not sufficient, that more investigation needs to be done. And that's what he was trying to say when it was twisted, his words were twisted. So he didn't agree with that. Okay.
So we'll have our financial institution, there's a 1 trillion naira inflow. It's claiming that this would cause excess cash in the banks and it would increase inflation. As it is, Treasury bill interest rates continues to be next to nothing. For a year, it's 4.3%. Yet I know, because I approached the bank to borrow funds for my business, that it's about 20-something%. So if we're reducing interest rates for people who want to invest, and our interest rate for lending keeps going higher, there would always be inflation because I can't collect that money. Yeah. So it is important that we find a balance with our banking system because there's excess cash, but they are not injecting it into businesses that really need the money to cost flow all around.
I wish they can learn from other countries that when their own people come to get loans, they give them as little as 1%, 2% to encourage a lot of manufacturers and business people. But how do you borrow money 26%? How much are you making from the business that you're just starting? We don't like ourselves here.
No, but there are other factors that's probably causing this. I mean, that's why we need to speak to an economist to tell us, because there are different reasons. For a country to be able to give you a 1 digit, there's something has to do. Maybe
inflation is lower, but inflation right now is double digits.
So what I'm saying, so there are different factors, and we have to now come look at it properly, so that we are properly informing Nigerians what's causing this. Because I believe that is a cycle that we have to break somehow. I think we can't take any more papers unless there's an important story. We haven't taken all the stories.
No, we've taken just manufacturers that are still complaining that they will likely be shutting down. She's highlighted most of the stories.
Aviation fuel.
Yeah, aviation, yes.
This
Diesel is now 720 a litre.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we want our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.